Good morning, everyone. Oops, let me get that off the screen. How's everybody doing today? This is yours truly, We-On-Loc Nation. You already know, and I had that up there for a reason. Um, First of all, I'd like to say, are we surprised at what we're hearing about this time? No, I'm not surprised at all. I've been hearing these shenanigans, well, it's not shenanigans, but this situation ship that men are in for the past, I would say, 2 or 3 decades, and it's nothing new under the sun. However, it is not as magnified, it's not as magnified as it was then as it is now. Um, I myself am not so sensitive to it, although I know the ramifications, I know um, the stakes, I know I know that we are under siege, and so I'm not gonna be naive and say that masculinity is under attack somewhat. However, we knew this going into the 21st century. So years and years and years of marching and years of demonstrating and the years and years of um, our civil rights leaders protesting and saying that we should be um, equal amongst our predecessors. We come to find out that there's been a dramatic shift change, if you will, going from racism in this country to erasing masculinity as a whole. And I come to find out that again, this is nothing new, although they've been trying to do that through you, through a whole bunch of, I would say, diseases, famine amongst the earth. When it comes to syphilis, when it comes to HIV, when it comes to um, uh, scabies, I forgot what the other one was. Um, just a whole bunch of other diseases. They've been trying to get rid of you for the longest time, and yet people think this is something new. Now they're trying to erase you by erasing your image as a black man, and I can see that. They've been trying to erase you for years through the Willie Lynch chip, through Jim Crow, through Dred Scott, and yet those who have been fighting and scratching and clawing to get you to a level of competitiveness for you to compete with other people that are nearly surpassing you in every single way. I come to find out that black people in America, it's damn near coming to a means to an end because, can I say truthfully, that we don't respect ourselves. We do not respect ourselves as black women and black men. And I get it. I get it because you see it online, you see it through television, you see it through many different means, and yet we do this to ourselves. I often refer to somebody like, let's say, for Umar Johnson, right? And even, love him, hate him, really doesn't matter. I take the words cold heartedly that is being said through anyone who has who is mainly throwing himself out there, endangering himself, and quite frankly, we don't like to listen to the words. We just look at the person for who he is. I'm like, damn, the person did. Is this person wrong in his statement? Is this person wrong in what he is trying to say when it comes to the system that is being run here in America? The elitists don't give a damn who you who you are. I mean, they mainly want to get rid of black people as a whole, but as a society, as a global society, they want to get rid of anyone who doesn't uh, magnifies himself as purity. Even poor white folks, and I damn near have to say this, um, poor white folks even get shoved to the side. Now, I am not for any of any other majority but my own, because I mainly look at I look at black people as a whole, and I say this is something that can be worked out. This is something that this is something that can be definitely worked out. The problem is we don't want to make sacrifices. We do not want to make sacrifices, and this has been talked about for years and years and years. Masculinity has been under siege for years and years and years, and I would feel uncomfortable talking about it on a main stage, like on a big, massive main stage. Maybe with 4 or 5, 6, maybe would be the max. But I wouldn't feel comfortable being on stage with 9 or 10 people, because it all gets the mics get distorted and we can't hear everybody, and then plus the subject gets changed from men having to survive in a world like this, and how can we get our men to tighten up in certain situations, to women. Well, women are the ones being, being threatened, women are the ones doing this, women are the ones doing that. We're not on women right now, but we often put ourselves in a situation where we're going to have to wear the women out. And I would have to say that when Lapeef does their shit on Thursdays, it's nothing but men. Nothing but men. And we don't talk about nothing. They don't talk about women, nothing. Women aren't even in the discussion. And mainly said, that's what I respect. I don't respect everything that they say, but I do respect the fact that when it's men up there in that panel, that's all there is. Men. And speaking of which, fair use, fair use. Let's see what they're talking about.
Us, right? It seems like it's us doing it, promoting it, and pushing it. And unfortunately, they are linking up with our sisters. And the sisters are not speaking down on it. They're not against it. Most sisters encourage, because that's the way of getting their testosterone fix. That's the way they get their male point of view or opinions, or some type of advice from a male. Well, look, dog, I don't consider you a man anymore. Once you decide to go on the other side, you play for the. I don't consider you a goddamn man, or you're a woman, in my opinion. So that right there alone is hurting our masculinity. The way that we don't take pride in our appearance, that hurts our masculinity. Uh, we come to the point of, man, it's just like we're not worried about it. We're not concerned with it. It's like, well, whatever, and that doesn't help us at all. But I'm gonna leave it right.
All right, go ahead, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. Masculinity is pretty much dead.
The reason why masculinity is dead primarily is because we don't have a standard for what a man is. We are so willy-nilly okay with everybody being different. Hey, you do you. To each his own. Well, guess what? If to each his own, then yeah, let him go date a man. You saying to each his own. Y'all don't want to enforce no structure. And I'm talking about this panel. I'm not just talking about society. I'm like Trev, Sherm, JR, Rob, Marcus, Kenny, Pink,
It'll go away.
Humble Dad, Viz, me. If we're not gonna, at least within our own stratosphere, make it uncomfortable for people to not be up to par, then shut up. I tell people a man is a lover, leader, provider, protector. If you're not all four of these pillars, you ain't a man. People get mad at me every day on Instagram because I tell fools, I'm like, you ain't a man. You're damn what you say. It damn how big you are, I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how many guns you got. I don't care how well you can fight. You can't be three of the pillars, two of the pillars, one of the pillars. You must be all four. And Kenny and I have had plenty of arguments about this. Kenny don't want to enforce that structure either. Kenny, I'm calling you out right now, brother. But not just you, calling everybody. Anybody that has a tabernacle between their legs should walk around and be able to articulate if the person is standing next to them is a man or not. And if you don't want to do that because of societal constraints, you don't want to do that because you want to be liked, you want some followers, you want some like me, you want clickbait, you want people to, you want to be popular, you want your business to do well, then just understand you've compromised yourself. Your integrity is shot. And if you are okay with, man, look, man, it ain't my business. It's all right, cool. Then stay out of all other matters that ain't your business. Don't pick and choose. Shout out to me. What matters?
Can I ask you a question, Will?
I don't even know this brother is. This is the internet.
What's that?
I want to ask you a question. Do you think that there's different archetypes of a man?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And so do all of those archetypes follow the same pillars, or do they have different pillars?
No, they all. Because you got to think about these pillars don't mean you have this bravado. It doesn't mean you can fight. It means, I'll explain it real quick, JR, and I'll pass the mic.
Well, I mean, it's no different from Lennon Honor stroking his little wee wee at every chance at Umar, but yet you like that shit, so leave it where it is.
If you break down, lover.
As a matter of fact, every time he has his pants all down by his ankles, Lennon Honor takes his little wee wee out and starts stroking. Tell him I said that.
Leader, provider, protector. It's very simple. And if y'all don't agree with this, I'm like, okay, you the problem. Just don't come out and say it, you the problem. So a man is to be a provider. First and foremost, if you are a single man with no kids, you should be able to provide for yourself. If you can't provide for yourself, there's a problem. If you decide to impregnate a woman or bring a woman into your covering, you need to be able to provide for that woman. And whatever children you provide, you need to provide for them. And you don't have to make a lot of money to provide for your woman and kids. You just need to make sure your woman acquiesce to your program of what you can provide. And they don't have more kids than your money can stretch.
That's the everyday standard. But my question is, what's up with this program shit? Everybody has a program now. Everybody wants everybody to be on their program. What does that mean? I'm new. I'm new to this. I am actually new.
As a protector, all you don't got to be the greatest with weapons or hand-to-hand combat. You just need to put yourself between. First, you need to protect yourself as best as you possibly can. But if you get a woman, you need to put yourself between her.
Yes, exactly. You're here with me. Exactly my point. Here with me. And I'm not stroking Lennon's ego. You are. Next.
And then you got kids, put yourself between them and danger. That's what makes you a protector. You don't have to actually win. You just need to make sure they don't get harmed. To be a lover, you got to love and care for yourself. If you have a woman in your life, you got to love her the way she needs to be loved, not the way you want to love her. You can't be like, well, baby, the way my love is set up. Well, no, bro. Then she ain't the woman for you. If you can't love her the way she needs to be loved, then why are you dealing with her? You got to love your kids the way they need. You can't be like, well, daddy, this is all daddy knows. Well, daddy going to have to change. Now, I'm not saying that your kids be your puppet master, because they real good at that manipulation shit. But you got to definitely make sure you give them kids what they need. Lastly, as a leader, most dudes are afraid to tell their woman no. You got to look your woman in the eye and tell her no. Tell your kids no to something they want, maybe even deserve, that you have the means to provide without them losing respect for you. So how do you develop that? First, you got to learn to tell yourself no. Most dudes I know is living paycheck to paycheck. I don't care how much money you got. If you manage your money, just better. I'm not even going to say manage your money good. Just learn to manage it better. You can get out of the rat race. And if you can learn to tell yourself no and have delayed gratification, you know you got to pass that tutelage on to your offspring. So it starts by being able to tell your woman no. And you can tell her no. You should be able to tell your kids no. All in a way where none of them will lose respect for you.
Again, this is nothing new under the sun. People have their own spin on masculinity and, and as far as masculinity and leadership. However, this just feels kind of awkward because we're not really talking about anything, but I digress.
Hold on, and Sharon, every man, no matter what his archetype is, should be able to do those 4 things.
All right. We go.
Mom, your sister, we got that part.
And so I do want to get to this next clip. I'm not going to that one, Trey. I'm going to go ahead and skip past that one. Trey sent me a clip, and I was kind of cautious about what I was going to play it or not. Man, I don't know how y'all was going to react to it. But anyway.
But you scared? Yeah, let it rip.
I ain't scared of it. I just wanted because I know we're going a little bit over time.
The same thing, it has to do with the topic at hand. What does this topic have to do with what you're talking about? Absolutely nothing. We're not talking about Umar right now, but you're on his nuts, so I really don't know what to say to you right now. I mean, you can keep typing away in the chat. I'm just going to keep ignoring you. So here we go. How you doing? What delaying what? Delaying gratification is major. I have to get back with you on that one.
I do want to get to this one. I'll come back on the back end of it if we have time. But Joe Budden, they also discussed the Anthony Mackie situation. I'm only going to play the audio from this. Sometimes Joe Budden clips be funny. I'm going to play the audio from this one, break it up into 2 parts, but things got heated in this discussion. It definitely got heated. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll go ahead and get into it.
Ask you two. Let me ask you two something as having daughters. What are the things that you
Even that's the point.
Oh my God!
Why you can't hear from a man that don't have a
Can I fucking talk?
Yes. So because I'm going to change your perspective.
Thank you fucking very much.
Hey,
Okay.
but not my ice, but wait, that is the point. Joe, niggas don't need a daughter to qualify. We speaking as men.
Joe, I hear you. I'm telling you, as a man with a daughter.
We got that part.
But you
We're
can't
talking about this.
I know you're yelling, but
no, we're just talking about men.
I understand.
We're not talking about your daughter, your mom, your sister. We got that part. This conversation started and should end with men telling you about men and the erasure of men.
Yes.
You don't need to speak to somebody with a daughter to see how a man feels. Speak to a fucking man.
Let him get shit off.
No,
Please.
no, he
No,
just.
please.
He shut down.
Please continue.
He completely shut down. that
No,
everything
you
that
can't.
no, because I can't respond to the Doge thing. I can't respond to the bear
Can't
thing.
respond.
I can't because
Well,
it
you
all,
should have-
because it all
Joe on one.
factors in. It does. My fucking argument, when you keep bringing up this bear shit, it's fucking pissing me off because you are being willfully fucking obtuse. All right, stay fucking there. You two, you have daughters. What is it that you are teaching your daughters in terms of when they go out into the world, how to conduct themselves? Only in terms of their sense of personal safety. Who do they need to keep themselves safe from? Who?
Why are we talking about daughters? Are you missing? Am I missing something? I thought we were talking about men. See, this is the issue. If you tell me all the time stay on course, why can't Melissa Ford? And I was about to go there. Why can't Melissa Ford just stay? Why? Why does it always have to lead somewhere else? It's just. I think this is the same reason why I don't let my wife drive. Because if I have the navigation system open and the damn thing is telling you to go straight, she's going to take a damn detour. We can get here quicker if we do this. No, stay on course. Let's continue.
And don't just answer the question.
People. Yeah, I was gonna say the world.
Okay.
The world.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
People. Like he said, it's not. I get where you're trying to go with that. I'm not sitting. I mean, I'm not at that point yet, but it's not. Hey, look out for men. Look out for boys. No, I can look out for people.
Okay.
People are.
And I'm just asking you two specifically.
Wait, hold on. I have a 15-year-old
Yeah, he
daughter.
can answer better than
I have a 15-year-old daughter. I tell her to be on the lookout for people, jealous girls, but I also tell her to be on the lookout for older men that's trying to prey on younger girls.
Okay.
Offering rides and stuff like that. Is that what you're getting at? I tell her that, but that's what you learn in growing up, and that's some men do that.
No, and that is fair, and that is fucking accurate. I can tell you stories of when I was 11 and no, fuck that. 8. We had a handyman that used to come to the house, and one day my father was just like, my parents work. Dad was literally like, he's coming to the house, just give him the money for the work that he did, blah, blah, blah. He came to the house, I was there alone, he was drunk, and he tried to do some shit to me. It was fucking terrifying because I'm in my own fucking house, and this is somebody that my parents fucking trusted. And he came there drunk, and it was really fucking bad. That is just one experience. There's so many more that I can talk about that happened before the age of fucking 16 years old. The reality is that you can be in the safest environment, and still there will be a situation that unfolds where you need to teach your daughters to be careful of predatory boys and men. I'm not talking about people because just wait 1 second. Anything can fucking happen.
That story about the handyman, was your dad there for that?
No, he wasn't. He was at work. It was during the day. It was like fucking noon or something like that.
No,
Okay, no, so hold on.
There are systematic efforts that are out there to discredit and silence.
I'm not talking.
But you have to acknowledge that too.
I'm not.
Wait. Listen, you should acknowledge the fact that there is a movement to discredit the black man, to discredit men.
The straight black man.
The straight.
Black man. The straight
online,
black man.
they're showing that women have all this power and women are in control of the home, and the black man. And
legislation says different. Legislation that's being Roe v. Wade being overturned. The anti-abortion laws. There is literally.
We're talking about social media that's being fed to our children. Okay. And now if you go in here, it's always something to discredit the black man.
No, and I do agree. Through social media, through commercials, TV commercials, soup commercials. It's all a sham, right? Because what do we usually see? We usually see somebody who's a little zesty come up and do, your commercials. I remember there was a commercial where 2 dudes were playing basketball and a dude laid up for a dunk and he had his legs pried open, and it was just paused like right there for more than a second. And the dude just took it. And it's like, what the hell is going on here? I only and it's getting so bad that I don't even let my children watch Nickelodeon anymore. They, they just watch Superbook, Super Y, and Superbook. If, in my opinion, if men want things addressed, they're going to have to put their women, if they have one, put them to the side and talk to Louis, get in contact with Louis Farrakhan. Hopefully, he can do it for the very last time and form the Million Man March one last time, and then address the things within that are endangering masculinity. That would be one of my greatest options and one of my greatest joys. I want to one day go to at least 1 million man march in the near future, if they have them, if they're going to have them anymore. But Louis Farrakhan does not have that long to go. The man cannot walk. The man can barely speak. I mean, his time is almost up. And I don't agree with everything that he states, but I honor and respect the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and what he has done for the black community. Let's continue.
You know that, and I know that. So that's what the point we're getting at, is that there's something that's going on. Not taking away that there's not. We know that there's predators out there. We know that there's men out here that take advantage, but there's also a lot of great men out there that take care of their family, that provide for their children, that protect the home, and that's not being highlighted anymore.
In no way, shape, or form am I fucking denying that at all. I it all highlighted as much as possible.
You don't when you say I'd
Hey, New York.
rather be around a bear.
Oh my God, literally.
You don't know when
no,
you say that.
Stop, because the fucking bear is literally just a fucking extreme metaphor for the high incidence rate of fucking sexual assault against women and girls. That's it. It's a fucking metaphor. Get over it. Okay?
No.
It has nothing to do with the erasure of the concept of the straight fucking.
Yes,
it has nothing to do with it. It has to do with sexual assault.
Melissa,
That is it. That is it. That is all. That is it. That is all.
But what is that? Please let me get this one. Get one word, please. And we don't have to yell and get hostile here. We
Okay.
don't have to
You're
do
right,
that.
but I'm very frustrated by the way that conversation has been handled over the course of months over here, especially for somebody who has literally experienced it. Literally experienced it more times than I care to count.
That was the first part of it, man. So it was talking about the whole Anthony Mackie situation, and the conversation kind of steered that way when they was talking. He was talking about his son protecting the house, and so that's how they got to that conversation. Which once I play the next clip, it'll all bring it in together. But what do you guys think about that so far?
Yeah, I was about to say, how the hell did she get it from that to that?
Yeah, she was. Well, she's leaning on. She's the only woman that's.
What are you talking about? I am not for little Timmy. I am not for little Timmy at all. There was a time where I used to be, but after you started talking all that, all that rah-rah shit, and I thought it was comedic at first, but then after a while, I was like, this is starting to get stale. And then he did some shit to, and then he did some foul shit to Zoe and Corey, and that I jumped off the plane on that one. But no, I don't give him no publicity. I don't give him no fucking publicity. What are you talking about? I'll give him the middle finger. I will definitely give Tommy the middle finger.
In there, so her thing was about the protection.
She should. It's crazy that her parents would leave her at home at 8 years old in the first place. So that already shows that you're clearly not being covered properly at the bare minimum. And it's illegal as hell for you to be at home by yourself at 8 years old. So to get
Not big. No, it's not big. It's not. It's like, look, man, I'm not gonna put you in a situation for my kid to say something. I'm just not gonna do that. You don't gotta watch my kid. Ain't nothing that important. I gotta drop them off to you for me to go do it. I'll just miss out. If I have to miss out for the next 7 to 8 years, 12 years, until they 13, 14, they can properly articulate themselves, and so be it. I'll just miss out.
All right, let me go ahead and play the rest of this clip, the second part of it.
I'm going to say this in closing because I feel like we have rehashed the bear conversation a bunch. But if the bear conversation is being had through the lens of only sexual assault victims and victims of sexual violence, then you have now answered the question while erasing the rest of the field of men, good men, cornerstone men, legacy building great men. You are erasing that and answering the question through the lens of trauma and pain. And
That was years ago, sweetheart. That, do you understand years ago? Like, I was a Tommy Sotomayor fan. When did that whole incident? I think it was back in 212, 211, 212. When he started doing that hair hat hooligan shit, I kind of thought it was hilarious, but then it started getting more weirder and weirder and weirder. And then, of course, shout out to Jason Black. Jason Black basically revealed who he truly is, and I just stopped watching him. I stopped listening to him. I stopped watching him. But I was not a fan. He's been the same since 2010. If you can say that, but different strokes for different folks. Again, I don't rock with Tommy. I do. He's Uncle Ruckus in the flesh. I agree. I totally agree.
horrible experiences with men. So when you
Oh, no. He's not Uncle Ruckus. Let me take that back. He's not Uncle Ruckus. He's more like Hitler. The Black Hitler. Yeah, and you can tell him I said that.
you hear Anthony Mackie describe what it is to be a man, where is the confusion at? We're not talking about men that do that. We're talking about men, and men should be acknowledged.
Because the two things have nothing to fucking do with each other. Listen, all right, look, just wait.
Okay.
Just wait.
I'm done.
The idea.
Because you're not going to get it no matter what you say.
But you don't get it.
But
You don't get it. You don't get it.
Do you feel like you're part of the problem because you also highlighted that pressure could be too much for the 15-year-old son? That's the first thing you went to.
You're going all over the fucking place. Listen, whoa, just one
But you
second.
made it
Wait 1 second. He brought up the bear. He brought it up.
Okay.
This wasn't even part of the fucking conversation right now. That was just throwing a fucking monkey wrench into the conversation about male masculinity. That has nothing to do with the fucking bear. That was not.
Has everything to do with the erasure of men and what it is to be a man.
Look.
And that's a man telling you.
No, just wait 1 second.
But even that, a man can't tell you nothing.
Yeah, man.
There was this case that just unfolded in fucking France, and her name, and the woman's at the helm of this case, her name is Giselle Pellicot.
Mm-hmm.
She was 70 years old, and her husband spent the better part of a decade drugging her and advertising to men to come over and sexually assault her, and she did not know it. And do you know who these men were? There was like 50 of them. 51 of them got some form of I don't know, punishment, legal punishment. These men were doctors, plumbers, lawyers. They were family men. They were grandfathers. They were all the things. The whole point is that there is no face of a predator. There's no face. There is no look. There's no nothing. You can't tell. So when women are talking about sexual assault, it has nothing to do with, be afraid of, men because they're just scary. It's just there's no fucking picture as to what a predator looks like. The predator can look like your next door fucking neighbor. The predator can look like your fucking father. The predator can be your uncle, can be your brother, can be anybody. That's the whole point.
Which is more reason for me to describe what raising a man looks like. So that he does not become a predator. Can I say something to
you? Again, this is confusion, right? Because I guess we were supposed to, the conversation was supposed to head one way, and it totally headed in another direction. And this is the reason why I say I respect the panel for who they are. I may not agree to everything, but this is what needs to be had if we're going to have men only conversations. Because if we just add a mixture of men and women on the panel, it's either not going to sound right, look right, or it's going to be, or a lot of conversations are going to be derailed, and there are a lot of instances, you know what I'm trying to say, that no one can stay on point on one subject. It's all or none. But divested zealot can blast off and it wouldn't matter. Divested zealot could say anything, it would not matter. They hate men, period. They hate black men, period, and they're black women. What sense does that make? But I'm ranting.
Here's my thing.
Yeah,
thing.
agreed.
Here's my thing. That's what we are. So we are so used to. We are so used to looking down upon black men. I'm not saying you're doing it, but people is, because the first thing you said, and I said this when he said about what he's teaching his 15-year-old son, is that you made an excuse by saying that.
It's an excuse.
Do you think
I asked a question?
You asked a question. Sorry, ma'am. Saying that, do you think it may be too much pressure on this child?
Do you want to know why?
We don't think that.
Do you want to know why I asked that?
We teach our boys.
Do you know why?
I want to know why.
This is why I asked it.
Yes, ma'am.
Simple reason why. Because as black people, black women, black men,
yes,
we are forced to grow up a lot faster than we should.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. We are looked at as more mature than our years actually, dictate. Mm-hmm. And that is unfair. That's unfair to both black female children and black male children. They should be able and they should be allowed to have a childhood, a full childhood. That was the only reason why I asked. Had nothing to do with him making a poor decision.
I get that, because on the flip side, the flip side of that be the girl that is 13, 14, and you got to take care of your siblings now. Yeah. You're being forced to be. That's some of the positions that society affords people.
And I understand that.
Well, what did you expect? What did Melissa Ford expect? Living in poverty, living in shitty neighborhoods. Not all black folks, but some. But it's like what Tanya said. This is a soap opera. This is a soap opera, because if you truly want to better your situation, you would have gotten off your ass and you would have done something about it. But people are afraid of the doing the bare minimum. At least they're afraid if they do something, they're going to get shot up, or they're going to get jailed. They're going to get arrested and shit like that. I'm not afraid of none of that shit. Put me in a protest to see what I do. We were protesting, as a matter of fact, on Las Vegas Boulevard, and most of us got arrested. I ain't afraid of none of that shit. We have a right under the First Amendment to say what is right. We have that right under the First Amendment. So if you want better, do better. That's all there is to it. And as far as Melissa's, I can understand where she's coming from. But yeah, this is not a, I'm sorry to say, not to be sexist, but this is not a conversation for women to have. I hate to be repetitious, but we as a people, we often do that too many times. And a man's trying to get his shit out, and here comes a woman jabber jobbing and whatever whatnot. When it's time for you to talk about what you want to talk about, then you can rebut. You can deflect. You can do whatever you want. But this is on the men because the young men are suffering. The young men out there are suffering. You have little to no stakes in this because they're going to treat you like princesses until it's time to not treat you like a princess. We're talking about in the system, not here. We're talking about in the system. We have no infrastructure. We have no infrastructure. And you can get mad at Umar. You can say he ain't shit, nigga. He this, he that. Is he wrong? Is he wrong in his statement? We have no infrastructure. We have no institutions. If you had institutions, you would have laws. You would have your own goddamn laws. You can create your own laws through the Constitution. You do know that, right? People come, the Asians come here and have their no hate Asian bill. They have their no hate Asian crime bill. That's a law. The LGBTQ HIV community can create their own laws. Why can't we? Oh, because we ain't shit. How does it feel?
Anthony Mackie is very, very rich. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of access to things. I'm just talking about him specifically.
Okay,
I'm not talking about, say the single mom who's got several children and she's got to work 2 jobs. And yes, then she relies on her children, and I understand that. I'm not
Is
talking.
that an exception? Do you give that an
And I
exception?
will give him that he could be considered an exception to the rule. That was the only reason why I asked that question. And it had nothing to do with, the concept of masculinity being bastardized or forced upon him too early. No, it's just like he's still kind of a kid, and he should be able to be a kid. That's the only reason why I asked.
Do you know what it's like?
The boy is 15. He's still kind of a kid. You sound white when you say that. He's still kind of a kid. He should do kid things. And he should be doing manly things. He's growing in that age. Hell, when I was 15, I was in charge of the house until my mom got home. The fuck? I get it. We don't want to have responsibility as men anymore. White folks don't have that problem. White kids do not have that problem. Old Jimmy with his little unprivileged ass can go to his mommy and daddy and say, hey, Mom and Dad, let me have the next skateboard. I want to go skating. Here, son, here's $100. They can actually do that shit, I beg my mama for $5, she go crazy. Some people, you can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool me. You cannot fool me with this bullshit. This is nothing but bullshit.
She got a lot of F bombs, don't she?
Man, her mouth is filthy.
This
Crazy. Like,
team is immature
I mean,
as
Joe
hell.
Budden really wasn't helping the issue with
Hold,
that.
hold on. So you saying you have 4 kids? Craig didn't believe you, but let's just say for the sake of argument you do, because I don't know. And you would treat, let me not go there. Let me not go there because you don't. I don't think you would even understand. the oldest has to construct whenever I am gone, whenever the man is gone, it doesn't matter where he's going. He could be going to a job, he could be going out of town. He has to be the man in charge of that house. I don't know if you have noticed, because you say you're married, right? When the man is gone, and let's just say the children F up, and you raise your voice. Sometimes your voice is not, sometimes your voice is heard, and there are times where your voice is not a void. You have to say things 2 or 3 times. When the father comes home and his voice raises, everybody stands at attention. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about that type of infrastructure in that home. We ain't talking about nothing else. Immature? I don't think so. Unless you have that right type of father in that boy's life. If you have that type of father in that boy's life to teach him how to be mature, it can work for you. Hell, it's worked for me.
Anyway, like,
Yelling
at her like, yeah, he's not understanding that. He's just further like he's making it worse, pretty much. And he should know. Well, this is a form
I wouldn't
of a man not
sure.
masculine, right here, right? And
Stop, Craig.
what do you mean how? Like I just explained it though. Like he's yelling at a woman. He's sitting here yelling at a woman, and that is not masculine. Like, no matter how,
Who's visibly hurt? Who's
yes.
who's screaming, I'm in pain. I'm screaming, I'm in pain because I've been put in her mind, in her thought process, whether we know it's true or not, but in her mind, she's been violated by what she appears to be a man. And that's stirring. So as a man, I see that. I want to provide safe refuge for you to calm down enough to, again, hear my message.
But he wouldn't stop, and that was the problem. Like, it's falling on deaf ears at that point, and that's why I say the delivery is more important sometimes. You have to understand who you're talking to. You have to, yes, you do. If you want to be an effective communicator, you can't give everybody the same message. That's not how. That's not how you
One at a time, guys.
I got cut off. I wasn't done. Go ahead, Trey. So what I'm saying is that you have to understand how to deliver your messaging, right? Even if we're not saying you have to change your message in any way, shape, or form, but your delivery is always important. Otherwise, you're going to miss people. If you're going to be encountering people, if you're going to be talking to people, you're going to be a conversationalist running a podcast, then you probably should know how to talk to people, particularly the people who are on your show, women, particularly the fact that he's already had all these crazy accusations of women complaining about him, his conduct, and him losing people for it. So you just got to be more responsible with that, right? Not to say that she was doing any better, right? She was hot garbage too. She's just not. She's like, think about it. If she's just going to drop the F-bomb like that, she wasn't trying to hear nothing he was going to say either, right? She had her pain, she had her hurt, and she's obviously bitter. She's obviously traumatized, right? Jaded, whatever you want to call it. So her, I couldn't see a man ever dealing with her like in a serious relationship for long term, right? Just because of the damage that's done, right? They'd have to be a supreme specialist to be able to navigate a relationship with that. Just because, and that's why I say, when people are that messed up, unless you're a professional, stay far, far away. But we have to learn how to talk to each other sometimes, right? That they won't.
Yeah, you can toss that. You can toss that out with the garbage, because you're not having when you have. I hate to say this. When you have certain women up there, they ain't trying to hear a marriage part. I thought this was supposed to be no. This is not an everybody thing. This is an every man thing, because black men are the ones are being extinct. Remember. But I guess certain people don't understand that. But as I stated before, if you were to build your way out of this, if you were to um, reconstruct your way out of this, I mean, this wouldn't be too much of an issue. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Village food season. Village food season. Bless up. Uh-oh. Now, um, let me see what else do we got here. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, bless up, bless up. You see, I'm thinking about going to Jamaica because America got too many issues. I mean, Jamaica got clean water, good food, entertainment. Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping over here. And y'all got great women. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I don't know what's wrong with America, but y'all need to get y'all ish together. For real, for real. Let me see. What else?
Under control. I think masculinity is power, but I think it's power under control. I think it's knowing who you are, and not having to brag about it. I think it's being able to take what you want, but having the discipline to actually ask for it. I think it's being able to relate to women in a way where you understand what they want, but you have enough discipline and wisdom to kind of stand back and let them figure it out for themselves. I think that masculinity is a work in progress. It doesn't have any one definition. When he talks about telling jokes, I'm wondering, telling jokes about what? Telling jokes about
that's what
who?
I'm wondering.
What are you talking about?
Let me play this other part of what he said, because I think it also fills out the
Go ahead, say it.
The Black community, hey!
picture of where he thinks Trump fits into this.
I think this is why young men in particular are so, they're so inspired by President Trump, is because he doesn't allow the media to tell him he can't make a joke or he can't have an original thought. President Trump just says what's on his mind. That's a damn good thing, and it's a good example to set for young men in American culture.
I think you would agree that Trump also insults people in childish ways and doesn't take jokes well. I mean, these are also things that Trump does. I mean, is that the role model?
I think President Trump likes to exaggerate on a lot of things. I mean, we've seen it all along. But you have a situation here where you look at the campaign, the young vote was huge for Donald J. Trump. It was huge. And what caused that? And it's what JD's talking about. A situation where did Donald Trump go? He went to the UFC fights. He had Hulk Hogan with him. I can go on and on and on.
Paragon
all
of masculinity
these things,
is Hulk Hogan.
all these things, which brought in the young vote to Donald J.
The young male vote.
Young male vote. I'm sorry. Yeah, young male vote.
To be clear, Trump lost young voters.
He what?
He lost.
That's but he made gains long
but we don't have the numbers. I mean, he did better among young malers, to Jamel's point, against Harris than he did against Biden. So that was the change.
Yeah. Look, being a man is being rugged, resilient, reliable in mind. Okay. But I think that, and I was just saying this earlier, that, and I think John Fetterman's also echoed this point, that the left really tried to define what bro culture is and foist it upon young men. If you read Barstool Sports, you're evil. If you got a kick out of those Coors Light ads from the 90s with the cheerleaders and twins, you're a misogynist. If you do drink beers with your friends and you do tell stupid jokes or say some stupid story, then you feel that way permanently. There is sort of no grace to the boys will be boys mentality. There are limits, of course, we know that, but I don't think there's been so much more less grace being shown what it means to be the sort of perimeter things of what it means to be a man in today's world.
Like, I don't want to speak for you all because I'm clearly I'm a woman. Like, it seems like when accountability is introduced, so as you mentioned, maybe it was the rape jokes, maybe it was all those kind of things that was the thing that people were a little bit disgusted by. And it seems like every time I hear somebody say cancel culture or they're not letting me be a man, I always wonder, what is it that you really want to say? What is it that you're being held back from saying that you think it?
Oh, great. Wait. Oh, great. We got Jamel Hill over here. Well, I'm going to be nice today. I would go in on Jamel Hill, but I'm going to be nice today. Craig, you can fire off. You can fire off at Jamel Hill. I don't give a fuck.
It's so poignant that you can't say, what is the joke that's so damn funny that you need to tell people?
If you saw and I'm sure it's similar to maybe, I don't know how frequent you guys are on Instagram, but if you saw the memes that are sent around into friend groups, they're just inappropriate. I couldn't show the memes. That's what I'm talking about. And by the way,
I don't care about those idea that we're trying to limit male expression or that there is some kind of force that's saying like, oh, you guys can't hang out with your friends. Look, my husband, I see how I don't really care about those areas because as soon as there was a limit put on what other people would.
Jamel Hill does not have a good reputation when it comes to black men. She does not have a good reputation. And this is not a Jamel Hill situation, but let me not go in. Like I said, I'm trying to be nice today. I'm trying to be nice.
Accept in terms of what certain men were saying. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh.
Plus, she's a Michigan State grad, so that's a red flag. So.
Well, you're limiting my expression.
Well,
I shouldn't bully people.
Let me
you
just,
should guys
whatever. That's all people are saying.
Without doing that. And I think that certain people are trying to define their power by how they can treat other people and them be powerless to do anything.
How about you just don't
it.
joke about grabbing women by the genitalia and say that it's locker room talk? Can we all agree maybe that's not being
we shouldn't joke.
You think I didn't catch that? He said, why don't we stop talking about grabbing women by the genitalia? Why don't we stop talking about killing the president? Oh, shit. I ain't looking at this, but... And just for you opening your mouth, Ali, I'm going to let you suffer through this. All right? This is for you. Let me see. This is for you. Since you want to open your jawline, I'm gonna let you suffer through this. Oops, wrong one. You ready? You ready? Love him or hate him. Here he is.
Prominent arguments because we've been celebrating all that hip hop has done for our culture, and you've made the statement that hip hop has not done anything for the culture, but has maybe been a detriment to the black culture in many different areas. Would you care to expound on that? And again, I've often heard you say your favorite rapper is Tupac. You've often, you're a fan of hip hop, as we know.
Absolutely. Grew up in it.
But you don't think hip hop is service the black community in the way that it should.
In order to properly respond to your question, we have to make sure we understand what culture is. Culture is supposed to be progressive, positive. Culture is supposed to reaffirm the principles and the belief system of a people and a community. No one should ever have to question if a part of the culture is dysfunctional, parasitic, or degenerative. If you even have to question that, then we have to question whether or not the thing we're talking about is still a part of our culture. Culture supports the people, period. If it does not support the people, it's no longer culture, it's cancer. And so the question is, Is hip hop a part of black culture, or is hip hop a cancer in black culture?
Wow.
More pointedly, brother Nick Cannon,
Mm.
if hip hop is black culture, is it possible that gangster rap is a cancer that has metastasized in hip hop to the point where it pretty much controls and dominates its direction?
Mm.
So can we cut out the cancer of gangster rap, or do we have to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because at this point in history, are the two of them inseparable? Let me go a step further. Hip hop generates $16 billion annually. Performances, streams, merchandise. Are you trying to lead me to believe, not you, but the hip hop community, are they really trying to convince Dr. Umar Ifatunde that there's absolutely nothing wrong at all for a piece of black culture known as hip hop to generate $16 billion a year, the most influential musical form on the face of the earth, and there is no systemic or structural benefit to black people at all?
He forgot one thing: zesty rap. Whatever happened to no one wants to put zesty rap on the line. What about zesty rap? You know, all these Negroes out here who are very, very zesty. Like what's his name? Little Nas X and all these other dudes that paint their nails and think they're gangster rappers and all this other shit. Zesty rap must go. Gangster rap must go. Think about any other thing than what it used to be, how it used to be is no more. Was no more. All that shit that happened in the 80s and the 90s, all that shit is gone. They're trying to glorify and trying to justify what is. And that is that zestiness and killing each other on a global scale. It brings publicity and it brings money. And if that's the case, then that's something that I don't want. And I don't mind not listening to it ever again in life.
I'm not swallowing that pill. If all these other cultures can benefit from hip hop, if the music companies and moguls and CEOs and corporations can make all this money, why aren't you artists demanding that some of that money get?
Ali, your comment is real stupid and not defiable. You're not even looking at the context or hearing in the context of what he is trying to say. You just said the most dumbest shit it could never come on a computer. Was Umar waiting for is one somebody else's? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Excuse me. What is that supposed to mean? What does that mean? So, and this is the problem I have. We're not addressing the issue head on. We just put our shit on the fucking internet just because we mad at somebody we never met. Somebody we had never met at all, never shook the man's hand, never asked him any questions up front. I know plenty of people, including myself. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you. This is ridiculous. Where did I put it? There. I'll leave that up there for you to grasp. That don't even make no fucking sense. We can't even address we can't this is so fucking low. We can't even address, and this is the reason why I want to move to Africa. Some of you motherfuckers is so crazy. He literally asked a question that most Negroes are so into to answer the fucking question as if the question is not and void, all because of the person that's before you. We just don't want to answer questions. We don't want to answer questions. We do not want to answer questions. But we want to go to the polls and we want to vote for a motherfucker that doesn't even, after 4 months, doesn't even present his or her plan or whatever the fuck. That don't make no fucking sense. No, you're here, you just here to bash. Unless you're gonna answer his fucking question. That don't even make no fucking sense, yo. That don't make no fucking sense. And you wonder why people get mad. You wonder why people motherfuckers get angry. JP. Well, I don't want to mention JP because JP is far gone at this point. Craig, your boy is gone. He is. Sidebar. This dude, he is online cussing, right? And he's on the toilet taking a shit while online. And when he gets up, this nigga don't even wash his fucking hands. Your boy, gone. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Can you debunk anything that he is saying is right or wrong? No, Jay Prince for president. This nigga is, he's gone. He is fucking gone. Why would rappers want to do anything for anyone other than themselves? Ain't that the point? Go do. Listen. Okay, if that's the case, I'm gonna leave that up there for y'all to marinate on. Ali asks, why would rappers want to do anything for anyone other than themselves? I answer that question for you. I won't answer the question, but I'll just rebut it like this. If this is the case, I don't want to hear a motherfucking thing about police brutality. I don't want to hear another thing about Mexicans taking over the world in general. Any and everywhere you go. It used to be here in the Pacific area where I live. California, Nevada, New Mexico, Washington. It don't even matter. Now they taking over damn near any and everywhere in the United States of America because their primary white supremacists' primary goal is to get rid of you. Their primary goal is to get rid of your ass by replacing you with other ethnicities. That's their job. Because they don't even need you anymore. They don't need this shit anymore. So mainly it goes like this. If rappers are making, and it's more than 16 billion, it's more than that. It's way more than that. Because even the zesty rappers are getting paid more than what you realize. And then everybody's getting in the mix. It's more than that. But regardless of the numbers, right? Why don't they build infrastructure for themselves? Why don't they? you can't just make a six-figure, you can't make a 7 or an 8-figure check and wonder why and complain that the police pull you over. It doesn't matter who the fuck you think you are. Once they pull you over, they don't have to respect you because you're Jay-Z. They don't have to respect you because you're Sean Puffy. Look what they're doing to Sean. Look what they did to Sean. Look what they did to Tupac. Look what they did to Biggie. Look what they did to Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle at least built a store for himself. And the police were fucking with him every single day. Are you kidding me? Just for him rep it to his people. And that store, as I recall it, is still standing, thanks to the people who were by his side. And I know what you're gonna say, Craig. Man, the person who killed Nipsey Hussle was a black man. Was he manipulated in killing Nipsey Hussle? Absolutely. You don't think that the white man don't want to get his hands dirty? Why would the white man waste time to get his own hands dirty when he can pay other people to do what he's smart enough not to do? Because he doesn't want to be seen in the public eye. We got to do better, man. We have to do better. Why won't white music artists ask for money in the local food? Are you kidding me? You're kidding me, right? So is this world run by white money or black money? Ali, this question is for you. Is this world run by white money, white wealth? Wait, where did that book go? Black labor, white wealth. I assume you didn't read this book. I think you need to read this book, sis. I think you need to read this book, Black Labor, White Wealth, by Dr. Claude Anderson. I think you need to read that book. And you tell me who runs the world.
Redirect it back to the black community. What has hip hop built? What problem has hip hop helped solve? What solutions has hip hop implemented into the black community?
This woman is going crazy
to take us from where we are to where we need to be. And if you dare say that they don't owe us nothing because they're artists, they're rappers, it's not their job to fight racism, and I say nonsense. We've had actors who stood up for us. Muhammad Ali, look what he did for us. Dick Gregory, Harry Belafonte, we could go on and on. Nina Simone, we could go on and on of black people using their art as a weapon of liberation. So nobody's going to tell me that the gangster rapper, the hip hop artist, has no obligation to the black community, especially because, Brother Nick, the content of your music for at least 25 of your 30 years, at least 25 of your 50, half of hip hop history, our children have been indoctrinated with musical content that sexually objectifies and denigrates black women, that pushes European materialism and conspicuous consumption, that glamorizes, glorifies, and promotes black on black crime, mass incarceration, and that has painted a public image of black men that has helped society, government, police, and white power structure to destroy not only the image, but the lives of black men. So when I say what has hip hop done, especially given the negative images that y'all have sold into the minds of fatherless black boys, I have a right to know what hip has done. But more importantly, I have a right to know what hip hop is going to do. Because, Brother Nick, my biggest issue ain't what they've done. We can't go back. But in celebrating the 50th year of hip hop last year, I ain't heard a single conversation from no one with regard to what should hip hop be doing the next 50 years. Anything that is against the best interests of Black people needs to be redeemed or destroyed. Fix hip hop. Make it what it should be, or throw it into the ash can of African history.
Heavy words. So in that, you spoke of past entertainers who utilize their art for liberation. But you also shared that Tupac is your favorite rapper.
Yes, he is.
Activist.
Yes.
True liberator.
Yes.
He speaks of it in his music.
Yes.
There's also other people who are cut from a similar cloth and exude that same energy, like the Nipsey Hussles of the world. And then even there's as the culture, because you make a great point there, there's so many prominent liberating voices that we've seen that have helped the Black community, specifically in their art and what they've put together. So we wouldn't have the Tupacs, we wouldn't have the Nipseys, we wouldn't have the Kendricks, we wouldn't have the Chuck D's or the KRS-Ones, who have inspired so many and so many movements if it wasn't for the culture. So in the same way that you acknowledge, Nina Simone and Harry Belafonte, we have to acknowledge those individuals that are truly creating movements in pathways for the next generation with those mindsets. Now, I understand you say it's not an even playing field, because
it absolutely not, because I don't know too many rappers who have done the kind of things that a Dick Gregory or a Harry Belafonte have done in terms of funding grassroots movements to fight racism head on. Nah, who done that?
There's a few.
Who?
There's definitely a few.
Who?
There's
No, let's talk about it in this aspect, because I know it's coming. I know it's coming. So every time Umar brings up money as far as specific reason, but since people want to be ignorant to the fact of what he's trying to say, and you're trying to put it in not put it in context, I would ask, so what's wrong with the whole money aspect? What's wrong with asking, why isn't the Black community spending money on building an infrastructure? Instead, they are basically slowing their own deaths. It's just like eating bad food. Once you continuously eat bad food, you're self-destructing yourself. You're just gonna kill yourself by just continuously eating bad foods and not even putting not one vegetable in your body, put one fruit in your body. Like, what the fuck? But anytime, I mean, we can talk about anytime Umar brings up money, it's all, oh, this nigga wants all this nigga want is money. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. But if David Duke, a former Klansman, or to come up on here and pour his little dark heart to Black people and tell them what they need to do on a regular basis to help build their infrastructure, I bet you'll listen to him. I bet you'll listen to Donald Trump. You'll listen to Donald Trump. Hell, you'll listen to an Elon Musk. The reason why you listen to him, why did she get this brand? I don't even know why she got that brand. You don't listen to Elon Musk, right? Okay. He needs to get a job. He does have a job protecting your black ass. He has a job protecting your black ass. Now what? Keeping black boys out of jail. That's his job. Keeping black girls off the pole. That's his job. But don't take that to heart. I don't understand it. The next nigga that gonna come across the street, y'all end up following that nigga anyway. Y'all gonna follow that nigga anyway. So don't do that. You gonna follow that nigga. I only follow the following people. Dr. Claude Anderson is one of them. But yet they call him a supremacist. I read Martin Luther King's books. You call him a cheater. I've read almost damn near almost everybody autobiography of Malcolm X, and you call him a crackhead. No black activist can win. No black activist can win by your assumption. By your ignorance, no black activist can win. And you say all day, "Oh, we need to defend for." Y'all can't even have a discussion with one another without arguing. So you need to be led. Motherfucker, you need to be led by somebody. Because you'll argue all day, we don't need no leaders because they're no good. He doesn't take care of his children. He's a deadbeat. He's a fuckboy. He cheated on his wife. But yet he gets up, the same man gets up every fucking morning and protests for your freedom. For your fucking freedom. I didn't even like Martin Luther King like that until I read his autobiography. FBI talking points. You don't make no fucking sense. I bet you $20. I bet you can't even tell me how he died. I bet you can't even tell you how he died, dude. How did Martin Luther King die? I will give you $20 right now. Put up your Cash App. I will give you $20 right now if you can tell me how Martin Luther King died. I'm not talking to you, Craig. I'm talking to Ali. How did he die? I'm not asking you what he died for. I'm asking you how he died. Who was there with him? Who was there with him that day? I said how he died. I didn't say where he was. I said I know he was in Memphis, Tennessee. How did he die? Ignore. She's just trying to gaslight. No. We don't get this out. Because what she's not getting is the message always gets lost. All because of the person who is standing there giving the fucking message. So we don't want to learn from anyone. Okay. So he died so you saying that he died from a gunshot? So Jesse Jackson. You saying that be more clear. You saying Jesse Jackson shot? You say Jesse Jackson shot him? I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt here, cause you put. I'm gonna let this thing rock, cause I think you just filibustering and just what's the word? I can't even think of the word right now.
Oh, they too busy telling me Eminem is the GOAT. They ain't got time to do nothing else.
There's definitely a few that have put their, like you said, you know, maybe not having, but the banners, the killer mics, those individuals in which we know, the Commons of the world, the Black Thoughts.
And I don't want us to deflect from what hip hop has not done systematically to point out individuals who have done some.
Well,
good
no,
things.
the only reason why because
that's
you
just
label
like somebody saying Dr. Umar is out here fighting to save Black children from special ed and ADHD, right?
Right.
But you cannot say Black psychology is out here fighting.
Indeed.
No, Dr. Umar is, and a few others. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got to make sure that we don't try to.
I was only saying that because you said, you know, when you spoke of the great Dick Gregory and Harry Belafonte and all those people, there's also individuals within hip hop that do have those missions. But
who have said some good things.
Yes.
Who have done a couple of soft activism things.
And we talked about soft
activism. I ain't seen no hard activism from no gangster rapper or no hip hop artist in a while. KRS-One is a jewel.
Yes.
You know, KRS-One is an exception.
Yes.
You have a few others.
Right.
You know, especially during the great heyday of positive hip hop, you know, from about the mid 80s to the mid 90s before gangster rap took over the genre. You know, you had a lot of positive, the X-Clans, the Poor Righteous Teachers, the Queen Latifahs. I mean, we had a whole era
of movement.
Nothing but conscious artists. And even the Playboys and the gangsters still had positive lyrics to them. So even when you look at a Big Daddy Kane or a Rakim, it might have been half gangster, but it was half conscious too.
Yeah,
so, you know, you couldn't listen to no artist. You couldn't really listen to an artist and not get at least 2 or 3.
I said how he got shot, but you answered the question. That's not how he died. He got shot, but his ass was still alive. And I forgot and I had to research what hospital he went to. But the hospital that he went to, they cleared everybody out. And the nurse that came in there suffocated his ass. That's how he died. See, we don't want to know shit. We don't know shit from Shinola. But yet, you put out the information and they don't want to read it for themselves. It's all about who gave them the information. No, he was still alive. But they weren't going to take, even if he was going to die from the gunshot wound, they weren't going to have him take a chance of revival. So they basically suffocated his ass. And that's going to be in the field reports. Everything about anyone that you ever known. The FBI, once they come out with them field reports in 2035, somewhere around there, every question is going to be answered. Okay, give me a sec.
3 conscious songs.
So that's where I want to take you, because I mean, you made an amazing point about, you know, culture versus cancer.
Culture versus cancer.
And we definitely, in order to grow the culture, you have to remove the cancer.
You got to remove the cancer.
So what needs to be removed from hip hop, in your opinion?
Gangster rap, completely.
But that's a little too vague. I want you to dig a little bit deeper, just in that sense, because even the term gangster rap, which, you know, is
rap that degenerates Black women, promotes Black on Black violence, conspicuous consumption, dysfunctional, irresponsible behavior. And I'm sure the definition can be broader.
Right.
But those are some of the things that I just think of at the top.
And now, so you're
the sexual objectification and the black on black crime is the two most important pieces.
And so specifically, because at this point you're just talking merely about symbolism and lyrics,
content.
Yeah. So
because content is what conditions our children.
But you would also say that the culture is bigger than just the content.
But remember what I said earlier.
Right.
Gay.
You ready? You ready for this? You ready for this one? I hate when they do that. Was Martin Luther King smothered in his bed? Oh me, oh my. Looks like he's still alive to me. Looks like he's still alive to me. Looks like he's still alive to me. Oh my God, will you stop it? Let's see here. Oh, they don't want me to show it. They don't want me to show it, y'all. They don't want me to show it. That's some bullshit. They don't want me to show it. Ooh, excuse me. And one of the civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. in the hospital bed, claiming that he took the person part of the subject when he got shot. According to the process, King was not actually killed during April 4th, 1968 assassination attempt, but rather survived shooting and was later smothered by someone in the hospital. Oh, it didn't show? Oh, it didn't show? Oh, shit. And you still talking about Umar. This is sad, yo. This is fucking sad. You won't even acknowledge what I stated. That's sad. You won't even acknowledge what I stated. But there it is, clear as day. It kicked me off. Oh my God, Craig. They watching me, Craig. They watching me. They don't want me to reveal the truth. But it's right there. A much circulated Facebook post displayed a photo of civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. at a hospital bed, supposed to be on a hospital bed, with the claims that the picture was taken after he was shot. According to the post, King was not actually killed during an April 4th, 1968 assassination attempt, but rather survived that shooting and was later smothered by someone in the hospital. King's widow, Coretta Scott King, later sued the state and won. And in 1999, the U.S. government was found guilty in the court of law for conspiring to kill him. Is not a source. What? This is not a source? This is not a source? A Facebook post is So the newspapers, the tabloids, they're not sources. Craig, are you hearing this? Are you hearing this, Craig? The tabloids are not a source. The newspaper, the Post, is not a source. But you know what? I will go. I will. I don't think they'll even show it on there, but just in case, we're gonna go. I haven't been on Facebook in years. I don't know if I can actually go to a Facebook post. I'll try. I haven't been on this damn thing in years. Let me say. Let's see. We literally lost our shit. I can't believe I'm entertaining this shit. I really can't. Oh, let's see. Facebook. Where do we go? What are we supposed to do? According to MLK died in hospital. I don't think let me do that. Oh! Oh! Never mind. It's right here. You said you wanted the source. Okay. You said you wanted the source. Here it is. Nah, you said you wanted the source. Here it is. I'm talking about, I don't know my shit. What? I didn't think they're going to show it. Here's the source. Facts. Government got found guilty for plotting to kill Martin Luther King Jr. and they rewarded the family $100 million. And he died in the hospital and not on the balcony. Ah! Ah! So from here on, you can't say shit. Okay, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Facebook is a source of crazy racist white women. I thought Facebook was designed by a white man. Zuckerberg, whatever his name is. I don't know who made the motherfucker. But it doesn't matter because it's a source. Like it's what you told me, right? I still haven't heard anything about the woman who tried to burn down Martin Luther King's house. Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one. That is a good one. That's the one we should be researching, not all this other shit. Now you saying it's not a source. Anyway, he was killed because he was. I'm just gonna ignore you. Hey, you know what? You might be right. You might be right, but hey, I let them talk. I let them talk. I let them talk. I tried. But some things you just can't get to certain people. I'm sorry. There's certain things you just can't get to certain people because they always want to be right. You always want to be right. You try to tell certain people. If the news were to come out today and say the same shit, you will argue tooth and nail that he got shot in the fucking belly. You need, and it says this. You need to learn to do some research instead of believing everything that you read on Facebook. You're the one that told me to go on Facebook. Did you not? I went to a different resource. The first resource that I went to was what's this? The first resource that I went to, well, all you do is just look it up in Wikipedia. Wikipedia is undefeated. Wikipedia is undefeated. But you're the one that told me to go to Facebook. You're the one that told me. So you can talk all that rah shit all you want. I get you. Every woman who thinks he or she is thinks he is something always wants to be right. Always wants to be right. But hey, I don't know what to tell you, bro. let's go to this one instead.
But he has some things to say. He was recently on the Pivot podcast, and this is the snippet that went viral. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let it.
Now, this is from Crimson Cure. Now, Crimson Cure is starting to grow on me a little bit. I didn't like her too much at first, but then this woman, people like her for whatever reason, and I started listening to her a little bit more and more and more, and she's starting to grow on me a little bit. But she delves into the Anthony Mackie situation, which, by the way, I can't let the shit slide what he did. I mean, you kissed the man, and you talk about masculinity. But the thing is, I hear what you say, and I take the message and I put it in my person. Masculinity is being attacked. That's the good side of it. When you're bringing the message to the forefront, and I can put it in my person, and I can analyze it for what it is, and the message is not lost to me. I can address it as is. But the other side of it, I can't let you. You're in Hollywood, dude. You're in Hollywood. You're either gonna get shot in the ass or you're gonna have to kiss a man's nuts. You're in Hollywood. Corey Holcomb don't have to deal with the shit. Corey Holcomb, believe it or not, like it or love it, is the realest thing to, a person that I know. He's the realest thing to a person that I know because he didn't let Hollywood change him. I don't know, but again, I take your words and I don't fall. It doesn't fall in the deaf ears what you tell me. You see what I'm saying? People would say you talk about masculinity, but you just kissed the man. You're destroying masculinity, right? I don't see it that way. I see it as we can take the thing that Anthony Mackie said. Excuse me, Anthony Mackie stated, and we can apply it to our brains, our brain cells, and we can say, look, what he said about his kids, I do the exact same thing to my kids. Especially with my oldest child. I instruct the oldest child to do X, Y, Z, and I expect no more, no less. That's where it's supposed to go, and that's where it's supposed to stay. And that's where it's supposed to elevate to other young men who are growing up in the Black community. But instead, we just look at it for what it is, or we look at the person who is actually making the statement, and we want to ridicule, criticize, we want to crucify him or whatever, just because we don't like him, or just because he doesn't see his children, or just because he's a beggar, he's a grifter, he's a this, he's a that. Screw that. Is he wrong in his message? Is he not? Is he wrong? Can you debate that?
play in its entirety.
In the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night. This alarm is on. You text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up. I love that. Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing. Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world, jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there.
Yep.
You know, and so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different. You feel it when you go to Europe. Like you see these, and you're like, could bust your ass, boy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You go to Europe, tight ass pants. Yeah, tight ass pants. Motherfucker, it's good, boy. You better lotion your ankle. Like you feel it when you go to Europe. Even when you like, I was just in Kenya and I was walking around. I'm like, yeah. Dude was like, you ain't from here. Like, nah. Like, yeah, I could tell. I know you can't. I could tell I ain't from here. You know what I mean? It's just that American male masculinity is something I think is very important for boys. Because now our little boys are afraid to fail, so they don't try. In the past 20 years, we've been living through the.
So I liked everything that he said here. I didn't hear him say anything that I disagree with. I noticed that he kept it clean. And when I say clean, I mean, he's saying American masculinity. He mean Black American masculinity. Let's be honest about what he's talking about, because that whole aura of going somewhere and looking somebody up and down like, I can handle you. That is almost exclusively Black American male. But when I say he kept it clean, he kept it in a way where you really couldn't find anything to disagree with. So he didn't say trigger words like Black man, or he didn't say, you know, he said the death of the American masculinity. He did not go into why. He said, you know, for whatever reason. But we know.
I just wanted to address the new people in the room. Although I've seen y'all asses before. Ronnie, welcome to the channel. Ronnie. Calvin, you don't get no introduction. I've seen your ass too many times before. I'm just kidding. Hey, give a brother a like, give a brother a share, give a brother a subscribe. Give a brother a like, give a brother a share, give a brother a subscription. Why would Umar post an hour ago that he RB Jesus, that he's RB Jesus, the Black Christian of Black consciousness? What? Oh, okay. Are we not shocked? Why do we keep going through all this? Why? He's gonna say some things that's gonna be off the chain. Again, I don't take half of the. Again, 90% of the things that he says, I think are good, and the 10%, I go, really, nigga. Like the time when he's like the time when he said he could fight Mike Tyson. Yeah, right. We all know what that was. Like, even the time we say he can out rap, or I think he says something to the degree of I can out rap a rapper or a Pacific rapper or some shit. I don't know. I don't fucking know. And then of course, then there's the time where people he found a spiritual footprint. Now, I'm not in the realm of spirituality like I should be. Like I should be. But I mean, maybe he noticed an ancestor, maybe he didn't. But I'm not gonna put that on camera. That's mainly nobody's business. If I don't want to, if I pick my nose, I'm gonna turn to the side and I'm gonna excuse myself. But that was a bad analogy. Calling yourself when did he call himself Jesus? When did he call himself Jesus? I know Mexican who calls himself Jesus. Real, I know plenty of Mexican who calls himself Jesus. Hey, Jesus! Remember Jesus Shuttlesworth? No.
Why? We know that this country has been on a trajectory for the past 20 years heavily with LGBT or maybe longer. Definitely longer with the degradation of masculinity as a whole, degradation of what it means to be a man, and warping the social perception of what masculinity should be and what is expected of men and what men should expect out of themselves, as well as what women should expect out of men or what children should expect out of them. And we've definitely witnessed the wiping away of traditional masculinity under the guise of it being toxic masculinity, and saying that, you know, the masculinity that we grew up with, the concepts that we grew up with where men were, you know, strong and, you know, they weren't afraid to be men in public and out loud, suddenly became something that men should have been ashamed of. Men should be ashamed of being aggressive or assertive or, you know, outspoken or, you know, any of those things. And he talked about how he's raising his children, regardless of his celebrity, regardless of all of that. He realizes that they still have to go through life as men. It doesn't matter who he still got to go through life as a man. It doesn't, him being Anthony Mackie is only valuable in certain places and in certain situations. But there definitely are situations where nobody cares that he's Anthony Mackie. You understand? All they're going to see is a man, and more specifically, they're going to see a black man, right? And have certain assumptions about who he is and what's going on with him.
I'll cut it for right there. I mean, it makes no, I don't know. It's no excuse for him playing Captain America. Although he could have took Falcon to a whole nother level, he still took the shield and made it for what it was. But it's in the comic books. If you're a comic book guru like I am, I mean, he did it. He did it mainly for the comic book. He did it mainly for the comic book. And this is why I shout out Eric July, aka Ripper 59, repping the Ripper universe, for creating his own comic book and making it for what it should be, and not mainly a copycat of everything that goes on in the realm of the comic book world. But anyway, as far as masculinity is concerned, I mean, we have a lot that we need to delve into. And I mean, there's years wasted off of some meaningless bullshit. We wasted a lot of years. And I think we brought, in too many occasions, the wrong people to the table to discuss masculinity. I think from here on in, it should be men and men only for at least one day to discuss masculinity and how it should be constructed. Other than that, it's just going to be a whirlwind when you invite a woman up there and she is absolutely just deflects and just gaslights and just goes off a story that has nothing to do with the male, other than she's gonna convert to how bad he is. It's like, well, what about the good people who suffer through this bullshit, who suffer through the system of white supremacy? We don't want to talk about that. So there's a lot that is supposed to be. It's a lot that goes into it. But like I said before, it's nothing that I've never heard before. It's been talked about for centuries. It's just it keeps magnifying itself every single year. If we're going to talk about something, talk about it in the realm where it should be and keep it in that space. Don't veer off to the right, left. Don't veer off to the right. Keep it in that space. And with that being said, this is We-On-Loc Nation, and I'm out.